Bungie is getting desperate. It is not looking good for Marathon. If you haven't seen the population numbers, they're hitting below 10K in their 24-hour peak. And now they have dropped their roadmap, which has their key dates, which honestly, still a little salty that we never got our roadmap, our multi-year roadmap. They have a multi-season roadmap now, which leads only one season further. Previously, they were talking about seasons 3, 4, and 5. However, with the season 2 like population going so bad right now, I don't think they want to talk about anything happening in season 4 or 5, because I don't know if this game's going to make it to season 4 or 5. At this stage, this game is going to be borderline unplayable by the end of season 2. And GTA is about to be the nail in the coffin for this game. Season 3 is going to begin on September 22nd. GTA comes out in November. We'll see. All right, here it is. As we move deeper into the new season, we want to share some important dates coming up for Marathon. So you got the mid-season update is July 21st. So right now it is June 23rd. So we're a month away from the mid-season update. The lowest population numbers we have ever seen in this game. Season 2 just launched, what, 3 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago, Season 2 launched. The lowest population numbers. We're already back down to lower numbers than the end of Season 1. Like, we are cooking worse than Season 1 already. And you still have another month before the mid-season update. This is bad. This ain't looking good. First up, the mid-season update will start on July 21st, and it's going to include the Vault Breaker, which is their way of getting you into their end game PvE map where you fight the compiler, but the twist is there's no other people. So an extraction shooter without people. Quite the crazy premise, I guess. Marathon's experimental PvE mode, Vault Breaker, explore Cryo Archive as a crew, duo, or solo player, taking on a progressively challenging series of vaults, right? This is what you're reduced to. If you can't get people to play your game, you have to make an extraction shooter game into a PvE game. Because ain't nobody playing it. So you literally have to turn it into a PvE. That's crazy. Grow stronger across multiple matches with progression that's unique to Vault Breaker, and push towards the final vault at the mysterious entity within. Vault Breaker requires a special sponsored kit to queue up, and any gear or items you find stay behind when you exfil? What? What is the whole point? If you load in with a sponsored kit, but then you can't take anything behind when you exfil? Is this just to educate people on how to play the map? That's so odd. The exception to this is the vault data. This new currency is found within vaults, and when you extracted, can be exchanged for upgrades to your Vault Breaker sponsored kits. Oh, they're leaning in even heavily into the sponsored kits. This is an interesting premise. This is a very, very, very casual attempt at playing Marathon right now, right? If you don't understand what's going on, they did these specific maps that are sponsored kit playlists. You can only go in with sponsored kits, which creates a level playing field where you and the other teams have exactly the same level of gear and shields, right? But the problem is that the whole premise of an extraction shooter is to get geared up and to get, like, fulfill that power fantasy, get super, super powerful, and then run around essentially like a raid boss and stomp the noobs. But a lot of people aren't really enjoying that. I mean, whatever people are playing the game, and they really like the sponsored kits. So they decided to take sponsored kits and mix that together with what looks like their map Cryo Archive, because that map isn't a part of the sponsored kit playlist. It's just Dire Marsh. So they could combine these two elements together to get people in cryo. And you're going to leave there with basically just like 2 tokens and a blue, it sounds like, which is pretty crazy, in 2026. This lets you experience Cryo Archive without flooding the economy with low risk, high power cryo loot. Wow. The Cradle evolution system, if you don't know, this thing has been quite controversial for Season 2. They launched this bad boy and it was easily exploitable. So people that were veterans, people that were min-max, people that were cheesers, all right, looking at you, Destiny players. I know you're cheesing. Don't act like you aren't subscribed to Cheese Forever. They loaded in and they quick farmed up purple gear and gold gear in day 1 and had like vaults filled with over 1 million credits. And then they nerfed the Cradle system. So now the people that didn't take advantage of the cheese have the FOMO of not taking advantage of it, and they also have to deal with getting punished by running around against literal raid boss level people while they're with their lowly peasant no mod LMGs and gray shields. Mid-season also brings the first iteration of the Cradle evolution system. Upon maxing out your Cradle, you'll now be able to reset back to 0 to earn 1 additional maximum energy point. and unlock unique cosmetics, including multiple runner shell styles. Okay. This is some, play to win level stuff. This is good. We like stuff like this. These cosmetics will be available later in the season, but if you unlock them ahead of time, you'll automatically receive them once they're available. Interesting. So they'll be made available, but you can get them early by grinding the game. Right. With this change, Cradle progression speeds will also be increased. Ah, there it is. So this is actually a good change because what it's doing is it's answering the frustrations that the players had. It might be a little too late because we're like 3 weeks in, but the frustration was that the Cradle system was much easier early on and people took advantage of it. Now they're going to regress the system back to where it was, basically resetting it back to the beginning. However, they're going to incentivize the super hardcore people to refresh the whole thing for added cosmetics. Will this work? Will people do this? Probably. I mean, if you're out there really wanting to grind Marathon and playing it all the time, then you'll probably want those cosmetics, I suppose. So I think that this is probably the right change. This will alleviate some of those frustrations. But like I said, it's probably a little too late because the people that were playing were super frustrated and have already left the game at this stage, right? We've got more to come. Various other quality of life, tuning, and other changes, including the addition of player profile stats. And here it is, Season 3 mentioned. Ooh, the fabled Season 3. Are we going to make it there? I wonder. September 22nd. Looking further ahead, Season 3 will begin on September 22nd and brings big changes to the early game experience. Oh, they're working on the onboarding, including a revamp of Perimeter to add major new areas, encounters, and gameplay. Season 3 also introduces a new runner shell. Wow, another one. New weapons and equipment, and lots of other content and surprises. We'll share more details about mid-season, including a full rundown on Vault Breakers and our Season 3 plans as we get closer to their live dates. So there you have it. That is Bungie's plan. That's Bungie's roadmap for Marathon. That's how they're adjusting to the backlash, to the criticism, to all these various different issues. That's where the future updates are heading towards. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. I think overall, there's some good, some bad decisions mixed in there, but mostly, like we said, I think that even if they made across the board the very best decisions for Marathon, I just don't know that it's going to add up to the game growing and thriving in the way in which they need it to right now, especially considering it's their only game. So even with all this, I don't know that it's going to happen. But right now, there are a lot of devs being thrown onto the project, and this is going to work in two different ways. One, it's going to make it so that they could potentially put in a big update, maybe Season 3, maybe Season 4, to give the game kind of a Forsaken level update to see if the game can finally stand on its own 2 feet. If they do that, the downside of that is that if it doesn't land well, if they try to do a Forsaken level update in Marathon and it doesn't land well, they are completely done. The layoffs are announced the next day, right? So that's one downside to it. The other side to it is that if they give it enough time, right, maybe with time, it's a slow grower, right? Some of us were growers and others are showers. Right? Marathon might just be a grower. Maybe it slowly builds its niche audience up into a sizable, healthy audience with time. I highly doubt that's the outcome, but that might be their strategy. They're going to go one way or the other, right? There's just no way that this game is currently sustainable for 2 years at this growth rate, at this population level. In 2 years, this game will be 1000% dead at this rate. There is no way any human will be playing Marathon in 2028 if something big doesn't change pretty soon. What will that big thing be? Is it even possible? People will continue to debate. Marathon will continue to try to do the best it can, and we'll see what the outcome is. So make sure you're subscribed, and we'll keep you up to date.